Alright, folks, well, as you can see here, unfortunately things have took a little bit of a crappy turn. And when I tried to make the holes a little bit more bigger for the tuners, integrity of the wood, as Philip McKnight and a few others have said, kind of screws up the holes. That said, I did have some existing. This is what the front and the top looks like at the moment. I just rubbed it over. I'm not worried about the frets because in the end I'll just give them a polish and it'll take off the stain off them. That said, I might have to look at possibly a replacement neck, but at the same time, again, this gives me good experience. Plus, it was a $150 guitar. Nah, you know, better to do it on a neck of a $150 guitar than, say, a $150 guitar neck. So, again, this is the golden wheat, which you can't make out that well, but anyway, so all you do for this stuff again is you just give it a good shake. Sounds like a milkshake. Take your cap off. And again, as you can see here, there's the color. All you do is just take it, dump it on, get some on your cloth, and you just take your neck or whatever you're dyeing and you just start applying it generously all over the whatever you're wanting to do the wipe on of this dye on. Now, if you don't have it down to the wood enough, again, you will see, like as you see here on the headstock, there's a bit of a sealer or something, so I might have to go over it again. Might not have to, but saturate it enough to what you're looking for. Wipe with the green as best as possible, so that it shows up. There I am saying again. If you're not satisfied, the cool thing too also with this Saman stuff is if you're not satisfied with the depth that you're getting from the what's already in place, you just take it more again and go back over it with more of the product and allow it to saturate more. So as you see here, I don't have very, it's kind of a little blotchy up along the top here, so we will take more again of the golden wheat and we will apply it to the top so that it has a better consistency. The more you can soak it onto the product, the deeper the finish you're going to get, and so forth. As you see here, I'll give it an additional wipe, and I'll come down the back of the headstock here, And again, the great thing about this stuff, even though I am using gloves, is again, once you wipe it on, and if you get it on your hands or whatever for whatever reason, then you just go to your sink or whatever and give it a get your soap on your hands better, and off to the races you go. Try to blend this in a little bit better here. So golden wheat might have been the right color. It might be a little dark for the body, but I don't think it's going to be the case as much. Again, you can see here where it's starting to show a little bit of the green. What I did this time around was I actually gave it a really good sanding with some 800 grit I bought yesterday. So not so much of the pores are gonna show up in the green as where it would if you left it a little bit more kind of porous. So we'll again, hopefully I've sanded this back enough to tint. And as you can see here, it looks like I am going to need to, unfortunately, sand the back of the headstock more because it is not taking the stain fully. Whereas as you can see here in the other spots on the neck, it is. But just wipe on enough. And yeah, who knows? Maybe maybe that isn't a bad idea. Fortunately, with the exposed wood there, I'm gonna have to saturate it a little bit more than normal. Only 7 minutes. I'm just gonna do this in regular 1080i, so it's a quick upload. But just try to dab it into some of these holes. If I can darken up some of these holes, it won't look so obviously messed up. And again, as you can see here, just by again applying another second layer to it all, it's darkened up where it's kind of semi-light. I might have to go in with a might have to go in with a God, for the life of me, it's escaping me. What I'm looking for. Oh, cotton swab. Q-tip. There we go. Cotton swab Q-tip. Might have to go in with that and get into those holes better. So here again you can see where I've gotten it down to bare wood and it's starting to soak in a bit more. Just gotta kind of massage it into the wood to kind of get the effect you do. Also, if you're not sure the color you want, another thing you can do is you can just add like a little water to it and it'll dilute it a bit. Same thing as, for example, like I was saying, if I want to make this even more darker, I could go in and take the black wipe on that I have, or the black version of this, and I can run over top of it and give it another kind of similar kind of effect. Now it looks like the way this is going to end up staining, it's going to have kind of a worn-esque kind of look, which not exactly necessarily what I want, but also at the same time isn't a bad idea. Also, when I further inspected this bottle, apparently somebody must have bought it and opened it previously, because I was noticing that there was the seal on it was gone. So apparently there's a few scratchy lines that I missed, but again, I think the way this is going to end up looking is, you can kind of already tell, it's kind of going to have a vintage aged look to it, amazingly enough, just by how I've sanded it and such. So this is going to actually turn out interesting, though maybe a little bit darker than the body, but at the same time this might give an interesting effect. I guess you could say a cool vibe, so to speak. Again, just the other thing as well too, like I said, if you want something to darken up with this stuff, you just simply go over it with more of it and it'll add another tint or shade to stuff. You can already see here it's already starting to dry, and the dry time on this stuff is, they tell you 30 minutes to an hour. So in the past with the Made in Mexico Strat I did, the Bad Omen Schecter, I usually did it like the half hour or so. Half hour, 40 minutes. More likely, I think, on average, I've done an hour. Again, just trying to use as much as what I've got on the rag just to kind of further soak it. And again, supposed to be golden wheat, but again on this wood it's kind of given a little bit of a darker-esque kind of look to it, but overall it's created quite an interesting look, I must say. I tried to get as much off of this and then any scratches out of it. I'm using again. Of course, got to put some on the end. So, when all is said and done, you just take it, and before you finish it, you give it another wipe off. That way it gets any excess off of the body or off of the wood. And then that way when you do apply your finish later, you shouldn't have any cracks or so forth. Again, we'll just take the rag and I'll try to get some on it and drop it into these holes, and then take the rest and spread it over the back of the headstock here, just to make it a little bit more darker. You can see here again, as the stain starts to dry in, the green will start to pop more out of it, as you're seeing here in some spots. And you can really see it. Let me just try to even it out here some more. Put the cap back on it, put it over here. Put this here for now. As you can see, it just starting to come out a bit more there on the tip and so forth. Coming up on 20 minutes now. Looks like maybe I'll have to go over this another time. And maybe the fretboard. The fretboard's been dried out already about 20-30 minutes. So you can kind of see, like especially here, there's a bit of green popping out more. And as you can see, the headstock is darkening up. That's got a little bit of wetness there. Another thing you always got to make sure if this stuff is to check around your edges, just like everything else, just to make sure that you've got like a proper amount, or if there's a bit of a wet overlap, it can allow for a dye to occur, or an uneven dye edge, or even a paint edge, as you can find on some things. So yeah, there's my video on how to use the Saman wipe on stain, and my boo-boo screwing up the headstock, or screwing up the tuner holes, which I do have 10mm headstock holes in place or already laying around, so I have given this another check. And even though the holes are messed up, the tuners do go in. If I have to put a shim around them, then I will. So, love it or hate it, this is how the neck goes. Once the drying time occurs, I will be starting with a Minwax Wipe On Poly clear gloss over this. So that said, hope you enjoy, folks, and again, hope you're doing well and having a good day where you are. Catch you later.